Testing, 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 testing. Hey, good morning. Good morning. I'm your host, BKP. We are North Georgia's only live online morning show. It's good to have you here this morning. It's not as cold. Okay, that was the official determination that Lonnie and I put together this morning is our weather report, our Doppler weather report, scarf around the neck report this morning in North Georgia. It's not as cold, but it is. I know there's a lot of frozen wells. I'm seeing the social media, a lot of frozen wells in North Georgia, a lot of frozen water pipes. Sorry that you're experiencing that this morning. Sometimes we don't, and this is not negative, we don't prepare for this kind of weather, or we think we're okay and going to get through it. I myself have left some water running the last 2 nights. I've left some water running. I just grew up in an area where you knew to leave some water dripping at night in the sink to keep some water moving. And we lived on had a crawl space, and I spent too much time as a kid in a crawl space fixing broken pipes. But I hope everybody's okay. I know there's several cities. I've seen reports on the city of Jasper with an enormous amount of water leaks due to this cold temperatures, but not as cold in North Georgia. So we have local news we're going to work on today. We have some local news from Fannin County. We have some local news from Dawson County. We have some local news here in Gilmer County. We got some local news in Blue Ridge, so we're going to do a little local news today. You don't want to miss that. Also at 9 o'clock, I've been waiting for the first of the year, get the holidays out of the way, not to just push Christmas out of the way, but get it out of the way, get back to everyone focusing, and I wanted to get Beth Bennett in here. Beth Bennett at H&R Block. She has several H&R Block offices here in Gilmer County. She's going to be with us at 9 o'clock, and we are going to directly focus on, at 9 o'clock, the tax reform jobs bill, what that means to you as a taxpayer, what happened when they said the mandate is repealed, the Obamacare mandate. What do some of the things in the tax bill do with this year's filing? Maybe there's some things you want to file different this year. So I'm going to tell you what, you're going to say, don't say, well, the tax bill is next year. There may be things you want to file different this year, and we're going to ask Beth that, based on next year's new tax bill. So that'll be at 9 o'clock. You don't want to miss that. Tell all your friends, tune in at 9 a.m. Beth Bennett, H&R Block, tax tips. And we spoke to her last night. We're going to specifically focus in on the tax bill. So moving right along, if you ever want to contact the show, it's 706-889-9700. Lonnie is in this morning. We appreciate Lonnie. Lonnie and I put the official FYN TV weather report together. We spent a lot of time working on that and came up with not as cold. Sam is on road trip. We'll go over that in just a minute, where Sam's at. I got a message about going through Iowa. We're real happy for Sam to get this opportunity to cross the country, but I don't think when she planned this, she anticipated the polar vortex, or what she is experiencing, the 0-degree weather. Last week, we were looking at the forecast, and I was talking with Sam last week, and I said, you're going to find out what real cold is. Real cold. And I think she's in her notes, she's really experiencing some real cold. Going to have some great stories. So we're going to talk about, show some pictures of where Sam's at a little bit. Lonnie's in producing this week. 706 889-9700. That's how you reach the show. You text the show. You can text live when the show is on. If you ever want to be a caller on the show and discuss any of the topics, text us. Let us know. Our producer will contact you, get you on the show of any of the topics. Lonnie, put that back up one more time. And you can email us, chief@fetchernews.com. You can also follow us on Twitter @FetcherNews, @FYNTV. And like our Facebook page. FetchYourNews.com. Also, our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, FYN TV, Fetch Your News, YouTube. And if you'll subscribe to our channel anytime we're live, okay? Anytime we're live, you'll get a notification or if we post a new video. If you go to FetchYourNews.com, one more little note there. We're going to go over several stories. I know you maybe don't see on some of the counties as much news as you normally see because that's normally there because, the last couple of weeks have been some slow news weeks. The news week has been slow. So we have sports. And I'm telling you what, I got to tell you what, between the Fannin County tournament, wrestling, and Towns County, the Battle of the States, between Jason Banks and his entire sports team, you can go on there and click around all those counties, and there's some great sports stories of how the young athletes in North Georgia did throughout the holiday tournaments that took place in North Georgia. So go and check that out. Now, the nuclear button, okay? So, let's start there, okay? The nuclear button, all right? And so what we have is we have a tweet, and put up the tweet. It's just called nuclear button, not the picture, the tweet there, Lonnie. Put that up if you could, please. President of the United States, so Kim, Little Rocket Man, I can't pronounce the guy's name. So Little Rocket Man, right? What does he do? He puts out that they are a nuclear, so Little Rocket Man said, North Korea is a nuclear, nation now. They're a powerhouse, nuclear powerhouse. He has a button on his desk, okay? He has a nuclear button on his desk, all right? Now, it may be the one the Russians gave him because remember when when Hillary Clinton went to Russia and Sergei, is it Kislyak? Not Kislyak, whatever, the Russian Secretary of State, their equivalent to a Secretary of State, or remember Hillary Clinton went there and put the reset button in place because Obama wanted to reset everything with Russia and start, a new relationship with them. How'd that work out for us? Okay, so anyhow, but maybe the Russians gave the little Rocket Man his red button. But that being said, Rocket Man comes out and he said, and there's a couple things we question here. He comes out and he says, we are a nuclear state now. We need to be recognized within the world that I have nuclear weapons that will reach anywhere in the continental United States. So we know, without going into great detail, we have a long list that gets this award, okay? Gets the award for putting a nuclear nation here, North Korea, in place. We have Bill Clinton, we have George W. Bush, whether you like me saying that or not. We have Obama. List goes on, okay? We have a lot of Secretary of States to thank for getting us to this point. We say facetiously, we appreciate you getting us up to leaving this on the president's desk. But so he has a button on his desk at all times. So President of the United States said, North Korea leader Kim Jong Un just stated that the nuclear button on his desk at all times, okay? Well, someone from his depleted and food-starved regime, please inform him. So if you're out there working in the rice paddies and you can barely move because you weigh 98 pounds and we can see your ribs, okay? Will someone in his depleted and food-starved regime please inform him that I have a nuclear button too? I got one too, okay? But it's much bigger and more powerful one than he has. My button's bigger than yours, Jack. And And my button works. You see, actually, if I hit my button, they work. I have a real button, they work. So show me the picture of the button there, okay? Put the button, there you go. We got the nuclear button, right? It's ready to go. That's a big one Donald has, all right? And I gave you a picture of Trump. Put Trump's picture up, okay? Now, we have Donald Trump here. That's a picture I picked out. It's almost like he's sitting there, you know, ready at any minute to use his button, okay? So anyhow, so Nikki Haley, put up Nikki Haley at the United Nations, all right? Now, supposedly there's been, and you know, you got the liberal media going crazy. The liberals are going crazy because supposedly, and this is, leave her up for a minute because I have a comment about Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley is our UN ambassador, okay? The United States UN ambassador to the UN, however the hell you say it, okay? And she says yesterday, we're not interested in photo ops, okay? Now, the left are gushing that, see, Obama would rush in. This would be a great Obama moment. Yesterday, Donald Trump's not Obama. He's not George W. Bush. He's not, he's not Bill Clinton. Donald Trump didn't fall for the same thing that America always falls for, all right? So the Chinese, which they are cheating in these sanctions, the Russians are cheating in these sanctions. We have shown you the port up there in North Korea, where Russia has a small border. That port is just gushing with products coming into North Korea. So we know China's cheating. We know Russia is cheating. All right. So North Korea, you know, China probably says, look, tell them in Seoul, South Korea, tell the South Koreans, you'd like to send a couple short, fat guys to the Olympics, okay? You got some skinny guys. Now, this is the Winter Olympics, you know, and you got some skinny guys or that can go down the Skeletor or whatever, you know, whatever it is. You know, send the Jamaican bobsled team, whatever. And tell them while you have a couple athletes in Seoul for the Olympics, all right, whenever the Olympics are coming up, that you'd also maybe sit down and talk. Oh my God! The cheers went up with the the Council on Foreign Relations, probably Angela Merkel, probably Theresa May, all of the lefties, the Obama types, they were cheering. Oh my God! The door is open. It's open. Nikki Haley comes out and said, "We're not interested in photo ops." There will be no nuclear North Korea. It will not be accepted. This lady comes out, no, absolutely not. We're not interested in photo ops. We're not interested in you going down. There is zero tolerance for a nuclear North Korea. You say, we will end our nuclear program, then there's something to talk about. But photo ops, we're not interested in, okay? Oh my God, that has spun the left's head off, because you see what Rocket Man offered, Obama's administration and the left would have jumped for that. This is a door cracked open, all right? Take Nikki Haley down because I'm gonna put up a couple more pictures. This is a door that is cracked open for diplomacy. We have an opportunity. All right. But when Trump said my nuclear button, okay, is bigger than your button, all right, we found the liberals running this morning. If you watched MSNBC, which I did not stay very long, if you watched MSNBC, if you're watching CNN or any of those lefty programs, all right, they're hiding under the desk. I have three. I have pictures. They're wanting the kids. I'm saying this, you might think it as a joke, but I'm just joking around. But this is how they see it. Put the desk. I got three desk pictures. Here's the liberal. Now, we've got one very famous liberal hiding under. There he is. Mitt's hiding under the desk this morning. We found him hiding under the desk. I mean, he heard that Orrin Hatch was going to retire, and he heard the possibility of getting a run for Senate. But once he heard that nuclear weapon, he ran and jumped under the desk because he would have. Now, Mitt Romney said that Donald Trump would be a disaster of foreign policy. We have some students that are finding their way. You got other pictures? There they are. They're hiding under the desk at college campuses everywhere this morning because Trump said that nuclear button was very... Got another one? Oh, yeah, look, they got all the kids lined up. They got them all under the desk this morning because Trump said my nuclear button is bigger than yours, and it actually works. All right, go back to Nikki Haley, because I want to end this segment with this. Now, here's what I find interesting, okay? Yes, David Ignatius is hiding under a desk somewhere. The left are all hiding under the desk. They're scared this morning because Donald Trump said, look, if you send a little, if you pull a couple guys out, and ladies out, and you send them down to Seoul, South Korea for the Olympics, good for you, okay? We hope they don't win a medal because the weight of the medal will be so heavy it will tip them over because these people are starving in your country, okay? But all jokes aside, so if you're going to send a couple athletes down to the Olympics, good for you. If you say, hey, while we're there, let's get the endless wings, or let's get the endless baby back ribs at Applebee's. I hear there's an Applebee's close by. We could get ribs, and we could sit there and we could talk. No. No photo ops. We're not interested. You see, Obama and the Obama people in the deep state, the Council on Foreign Relations, all right, the people in the world are thinking, wow, what an opportunity, and Trump is blowing it. No. People, listen. President Donald Trump is not blowing an opportunity, okay? Not blowing an opportunity to meet and discuss things with North Korea. See, we've already sent Dennis Rodman. If Dennis Rodman couldn't go to North Korea and get it done, okay? We had Madeleine Albright, okay, folks? We had Bill Clinton. So while the left is all nervous because this diplomatic olive branch, the door was cracked open, there was an opportunity, okay, for the President of the United States to engage, okay, damn it, engage. I get so damn tired of that. Engage in talks with the North Koreans, all right? Your president's no fool. You see, Bill Clinton engaged in talks. Remember, Bill Clinton legitimized, okay, this little rocket man whack job. Madeleine Albright went over there, got her little plastic flowers that they gave her, okay, when she got off the plane. We did not deal with North Korea at this time. Bill Clinton sends Madeleine Albright. Bill Clinton goes to a podium, which we have the video, we won't play, and brags about the great deal that was made for America with the North Korean government. That's the little Rocket Man's dad, okay? Rocket Man 1, all right? We have all that. We have all the opportunities for talks. We have the Chinese went over there and sent a delegation. We have all this on record. And like I said, all jokes aside, okay? Look at the kid they sent home dead, Wambler, okay? I forget his first name. And I'm not joking. Dennis Rodman's ass goes over there, all tattooed up, earrings, 90 in each ear, you know? And he watches movies with the little dude. It plays Tour of Duty on Xbox with him. He says, I kind of like the guy, whatever the hell. All jokes aside, no. You have a president that said, hell no. I'm not Bill Clinton. I'm not George Bush. I'm not Barack Obama. I'm not going to gush because you said, okay, we'll talk. You know, we'll talk and take some pictures. No, absolutely not. So Nikki Haley, and I want to wrap up with this. Nikki Haley, ambassador to the UN, says no photo ops, okay? No photo ops, all right? We will not be a part of it. The only thing we will discuss is a no nuclear North Korea. That's it, nothing else. Not showing up to take pictures. Now, here's my thing with Nikki Haley before I close. Because when we come back, I'm going to do a couple local things, all right? And I'm not quite ready to close this yet. Now, how many of you out there, and this is a question I want to leave for you, okay? How many of you out there, okay, like Nikki Haley? I'm going somewhere with this. How many of you are impressed with how she's handled her position at the UN? How many of you are impressed of how she stood up to the United Nations concerning moving the embassy to Jerusalem? How many of you are impressed about her comments on Pakistan and Iran? How many of you are going through your day every time you see one of these little clips from her and she doesn't care? I mean, when she throws a cocktail party, when the UN throws a cocktail party, they get done. They say, okay, in room 29, the U.S., the United States is having a little cocktail party. You want to, for anybody that wants to stop by. Okay? Nikki Haley has the ambassador from Guam coming by. All right? So my question on how many of you are this impressed with how strong this lady is handling, how well she's handling her assignment at the UN. I just have a question. Why the hell could she not handle South Carolina and the Confederate flag and the history of this country in her state as well as she's handling the UN? Now I have a question. If this lady is standing up to China, I mean, she has a set. I got to give it. She's got a set. You figure it out, okay? If she's standing at the podium there and she's got China sitting there, and she's got, 12 guys with towels on their head over here, and she's got Russia over here, and she's got Great Britain over here. I mean, she's got all these people there, and she stands up and says, bam, this is how it's going to be. And she takes China to task, she takes Russia to task, she takes the world to task for Donald Trump, she takes the Paris Climate Accord, she takes the Trans-Pacific Party. It doesn't matter what it is. She stands up in front of the entire world and goes, bam! I want to know where she was at when she took the Confederate flag down from the capital of South Carolina. I want to know where she was at when she fell to the pressure of radicals. And I don't mean the radical right. I don't mean the people that want to preserve the history. You see, this lady is not the complete star, but she's the domino. I mean, I like Nikki Haley and what she's doing at the UN, but I am so confused with this lady because this is the domino. We would be all morning reading every Confederate monument, okay? We have had the backlash in Georgia with Stone Mountain, Robert E. Lee, all right? We had Richmond, Virginia, Charlottesville. This is the domino that did not have a spine in South Carolina. I just want to know who was calling those shots in South Carolina that led this woman to believe, or led this woman with no spine whatsoever to handle what took place in her state concerning Dylann Roof and the Confederate flag and taking down the flag and what she did. That now she can stand up and take on North Korea. You can take on North Korea. You could stand up to these dictators in the world, but you couldn't handle South Carolina and the Confederate flag and the history of this country. There's a big question with this lady. Could somebody answer it? Hey, I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. We have a lot more going on today. At 9 o'clock, we are going to have tax tips with Beth Bennett. We're going to have tax tips with Beth Bennett. We found the liberals hiding under the desk, all right? And when we come back, we're going to discuss some local. We're going to go local. We're going to go into Blue Ridge, Dawson County, Fannin County, Blue Ridge, Dawson County, Gilmer County. We're going to go into a little local news. Then we're going to have our tax tips at 9 o'clock. So you want to stick around for that. You don't want to leave because what does it mean to you? You may want to file a certain way this year based on the new tax laws and how they affect you. There's 2 new senators. Just go ahead and put that up. Senator-elect Doug Jones. 2 new senators headed to be sworn in today up there in Washington, D.C. All right? Washington, D.C. That's Doug Jones and Tina Smith. Now, Al Franken left yesterday. I think they should have put a clause. Like Al Franken should have said, look, I'm going to leave, but here's the deal, okay? If I leave, and when I leave, another writer or cast member from Saturday Night Live, I mean, should the Senate not have a Saturday Night Live representative there, right? So I think he should have said, I'll leave if we can get like Will Ferrell, okay? I'll leave if we can get like Eddie Murphy, all right? Somebody, if we can get a cast member from Saturday Night Live. But anyhow, so the lady on my right, Tina Smith, she has been appointed. She's appointed by the governor of Minnesota to replace Al Franken. She will take her oath today. Michelle Bachmann is considering running against her, because she has to run now, considering running against her for the seat that Al Franken held. But Michelle Bachmann is actually waiting and going to put it before her God and ask, hey, God, what is it you would like for me to do in my life? So the liberals are going crazy because she's a woman of prayer and says, well, I'm going to wait to see what God has in counter for my life, or what he decides, or she, oh my God, it's a man, whatever the heck, God. Can't say bad words and God in the same sentence. So Michelle Bachmann's going to wait. So that's Tina Smith. And then Doug Jones. And we understand Roy Moore is still down there waiting for Trigger, his horse, to show up so he can ride off into the sunset. But, anyhow, I don't dislike Roy Moore. But Doug Jones, the Democrat Alabama senator. So they'll make a big deal out of that today. I understand Joe Biden. I understand Vice President Joe Biden is going to escort Doug Jones into the chamber for his swearing in. I understand he'll be a part of that. So they're going to make a big deal out of that new Alabama Democrat senator. So I'm your host, BKP. We'll get right back. We've got a lot of local news we want to look at. Where is Sam? We're going to do our little segment on Where is Sam. She's enjoying her trip. She sent us some pictures. We'll talk about that when we return. Tax tips with Beth Bennett at 9 o'clock. What was that sonic boom in Fannin County the other night? Did you hear it in Gilmer? What is that mysterious sonic boom? And who's running for re-election? Or who's running for election? Or who's throwing their hat in the ring? Local politics, you got to love it. Take us to breaks.
I never felt like this before. Tupelo Tea mission is to provide over 80 premium tea blends for tea lovers who are looking for ways to explore new flavors and blends. Come visit Tupelo Tea, located in beautiful downtown Blue Ridge at Sycamore Crossing. Be sure to sample our various varieties of honey and tea. Visit us on the web at tupelotea.com or call us at 706-946-TEAS. That's TEAS. Tupelo Tea, located in beautiful downtown Blue Ridge.
Better days ahead. 'Tis the season of huge year-end discounts at Days Chevrolet in Jasper. Every 2017 and 2018 Chevy is discounted deep right now. Like $5,000 off Equinox LT from $26,750, or a whopping $10,000 off new Silverado Crew Cabs from $33,695. Unwrap huge holiday savings on every Chevy at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where we make the holidays bright.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
Ace is your helpful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart.
Kinty Artesian Silver and Gifts, the Peruvian shop, located in beautiful downtown Blue Ridge at Sycamore Crossing. Fine sterling silver, luxurious baby alpaca and exotic woods. A beautiful selection of exquisitely crafted gifts for all of your special occasions. Visit our website, artesiansilvergifts.com, or follow us on Twitter at Artesian Silver Gifts. Kinty Artesian Silver and Gifts, the Peruvian shop in downtown Blue Ridge.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
Hey, and we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office with North Georgia's only live online morning show. 8:35. Lonnie and I, our official FYN TV weather report. We decided that the weather report is not as cold. So I don't know what the weather is at your house, okay, but it's not as cold here. At 20 degrees when I left the house. Yesterday morning was 6 degrees, but several of you are bracing for a coastal storm in South Georgia, along the coast, Savannah, and areas like that. They're looking at snow, freezing rain. Some people are bracing for a winter storm going up the coast today, all the way up to Maine, with Maine having blizzard conditions. So I'm going to opt for not as cold. Now, most of you, before we get into our local news about Dawson, we have Dawson, Fannin, and Gilmer County this morning, some local news. But before we get into that, and at 9 o'clock we're going to have tax tips with Beth Bennett. But Sam, our producer here, has taken the week as she flew out to Seattle, and she has an opportunity to come back to Nashville cross country on a tour bus. And so she is sending in, and many of you have gotten to know Sam at producing the show for quite some time. So where is, we got our graphic this morning, and Lonnie, we went to break. There's Sam. She's on. I still have to see who. I want to know who decided the peace sign. Where the heck is Sam today? Sam's road trip. So Sam went across country, and hey, you all. Well, you can run some of our pictures, Lonnie. Hey, you all. Well, this morning we were in Nebraska. Yesterday morning we were crossing into Iowa about 10 a.m. Weird fact: almost all the barns and houses in Iowa along I-80 are white. It's like, I think she's trying to say they painted everything. Everything is white, okay? Weird fact. Everything is white in Iowa. They've crossed the Mississippi and went into Illinois about 3:45 yesterday. She said the Mississippi was almost all the way frozen, almost completely frozen. The Mississippi River. Hold on, Lonnie. I've lost my bearings here. As they went into the Mississippi River was almost frozen. So cool to see. Then we stopped for the night in Ottawa, Illinois, and it's going to be -7 degrees. -7 degrees this morning in Illinois. They're going to head to Detroit today. Hope everybody's having a good week out there. See you all soon. So, what is that? Hold on there. Sam's got her hat on. She is cold, right? Well, she can have her -7. I told her last week, Lonnie. Road trip across the country. We'll be glad to have you back next week, but we're thankful Lonnie is filling in and he's doing an outstanding job. Many of you know Lonnie. Lonnie's like a baseball player, right, Lonnie? Utility player, right?
Oh, I thought you were going with pinch hitter, but
no, not a pinch hitter. Okay, you can be a pinch hitter if you want. So, folks, let's go into Dawson County now. I'm going to make this brief. You can go to fetchernews.com, and I'll tell you where you can go with this in a minute. You can go to fetchernews.com, and you can read the article. Now, the Board of Commissioners, and let's put up the Dawson Board of Commissioners there, Lonnie. And let me get to that. I have it here somewhere. I thought I had that. I should. No, I can't find it. But Dawson Board of Commissioners, all right, they set the budget, all right? They set the budget for all of the departments and offices in the county. Your county set its budget. So this is the group, and I had it up a minute ago. I had the website a minute ago. I must have misplaced where I put the website, all jokes aside, to name all the commissioners. But that's the Board of Commissioners of Dawson County. Now, they are being sued. They set the budget. Now, let me just give you a brief, all right? And leave the Board of Commissioners up here at Dawson County for a minute. When your county sets a budget, a department has to live by whatever the county says. So if you have a department in your county, that falls under your commission, which is a group, 2 men, 3 men, or people, okay? Whatever the commission is. The department has to live by the budget set by the commission. But constitutional officers, that means if you went out and elected somebody to do something for your county, you elected your tax commissioner, okay? You elected your sheriff, you elect your your tax commissioner, your sheriff. There's several offices that you go, probate judge, magistrate judge, several in your county that are people you went to the ballot box and elected. But still yet, the only taxing authority is the commission. That's it. only taxing authority by the Constitution of the state of Georgia. And it's the authority that has to set the millage rate to pay for the budget they set, to operate. So your county has to operate. So the commission by the state of Georgia is the only one that has the constitutional right to collect taxes. That being said, their responsibility is to see what's coming in, property tax, not SPLOST, special purpose local option sales tax, because SPLOST is a special purpose. You can buy equipment, you can only buy specific things. You cannot use it for operating expenses. SPLOST cannot be used for operating expenses. SPLOST cannot be used for payroll. Okay? Can't do it. So the operating expenses of this county is property tax coming in. They set a budget to match, to equal it, okay? So it's very important that this commission go to the tax commissioner and say, what's coming in? And then it's that the tax commissioner says, we always use $20 million, all right, for a simple. Tax commissioner says, $20 million. Well, then the commission says, okay, we're collecting, what's coming in is $20 million. We're at a 96% collection rate, so 4% of that's not coming in. So here's what we got to work with. Now, it's the commission's job to divvy it up, as they say. Divvy it up, get it to the appropriate offices, appropriate, departments. Now, there's some years Board of Elections needs more because it's an election year. So you can have a Board of Election that needs a budget of $30,000, and then you can have a Board of Election next year that needs $90 because it's an election year and everybody's up for election. All right, because it could be different things. But it's their job to take the property tax, mirror it up with the operating expenses of the county, and try to divide it and make sure everybody can do their job appropriately according to the mandates and what's required of the state of Georgia. Simple as that, right? Well, if you're a constitutional officer, what you do every year is you put in a budget request. You put in a budget request. Now, I'm going to keep this in a narrow box because I'm going to give you a place to go look this up. All right, so you put in a budget request. As a constitutional sheriff puts in one, clerk, magistrate puts in one, probate puts in one, your tax commissioner, you put in your budget. Now it's up to the commission to work with you and see if you can make cuts. Can you reduce it? Can you not get as much? So it's my experience, these offices come in high, knowing that not just these people, but the commission in most of the counties are going to try to work it down as much as they can. So that being said, let's put up the sheriff. Now Jeff Johnson, it's my understanding this is his first budget, okay? So here's Sheriff Jeff Johnson of Dawson County. Now, Billy Carlisle, former Sheriff Billy Carlisle, retired. All right, he did not get beat, he retired. And in that, there was about 5 individuals that ran for sheriff, and Jeff Johnson won, and he's the new sheriff of Dawson County. Now, my understanding is I think this is his first budget. I don't know if it's his first or his second. It's his first term. The dispute between Dawson County Sheriff Jeff Johnson and the Board of Commissioners over the 2018 budget will move to Senior Superior Court Judge Fred A. Bishop courtroom Friday at 9:30 a.m. All right. On December 18th, Bishop ordered county commissioners to appear before him to show cause why Johnson's petition for mandamus should not be issued as requested, and such other relief by granted the facts of the case may warrant. Now, the mandamus, all right, it's like we intend to sue, okay? We intend to sue. So he's going forward. So you can get a mandamus, and usually what it is with a public or county office, like your city. If somebody intends an official intends to sue the city, okay? If an official intends to sue a county, you do the mandamus saying, okay, we are intending to sue you. So that's been done, all right? Johnson claims the $8,273,080 budget approved by the commissioners for 2018 is inadequate for him to perform his duties. So Jeff Johnson, the sheriff, okay, of Dawson County, is taking a step that doesn't happen quite often. Usually this gets settled in the conference room. Now, I'm going to step out here and I'm going to say, the sheriff of Gilmer County, Stacy Nicholson, I've watched Stacy get fired up, and I'm not saying that in a negative way. We all know him here in Gilmer County. I've watched him get fired up with the commissioners. I watched the commissioners come back and say, you got to cut somewhere else, or you got to take money somewhere else if you want to make move here. But in my 9 years, going into 9 years with FetchYourNews.com, I have yet to witness the sheriff taking the commission to court. Jeff Johnson's taking them to court. Friday is the court date. You can go to FetchYourNews.com, Dawson County. You can read all the articles that Bill has there concerning this. Just go to news. Go to FetchYourNews.com, Dawson County. Go to news. Click on news. And then click on Bill Johnson's name. Okay? And every one of these articles, you can read the entire storyline. But that's Friday, the sheriff. So I'm going to tell you, when I write in the morning, I say this is local news. This is my opinion of local, state, and news. I will bet you after this lawsuit, there'll be a lot of bad blood there in Dawson County. This will make for one heck of an election season. And I have on good information that people are looking for candidates to run against Jeff Johnson next time for sheriff. I just have that on good authority. Now, I'm not calling the guy good or bad. We're going to see what the court says. But I think this is rubbing the people the wrong way. Got it? Okay, moving right along. Who is going to run for re-election in Gilmer County? And that would be Chairman Charlie Paris. Okay? The election season, the political posturing in local elections has made its way to 2018. The start is on by Chairman, that's Commission Chair in Gilmer County, Charlie Paris. Commission Chair Charlie Paris has announced, Lonnie has an article, if you go to FetchYourNews.com, Gilmer County, Lonnie has an article that he has publicly, Gilmer Commission Chair Charlie Paris has publicly announced he will be seeking re-election to that office of chairman. So his 4-year term will be up. He's seeking re-election. So let's see who's coming out next. I will tell you this: if you attend your city, county meetings right now, watch. Except for Blue Ridge, they're done. But Fannin County, Gilmer County, all the surrounding counties, watch the political posturing. It's happening right now. But Charlie Paris has announced he will be running for re-election as commission chair in Gilmer County. Now, the last story, the next thing I want to do is Blue Ridge City Council. Go to the meet and greet, Lonnie. Blue Ridge City Council, next Tuesday, January 9th, I have the photo called meet and greet there, buddy. Blue Ridge City Council meet and greet and January meeting. So they are the next Tuesday at 9 o'clock, next Tuesday, January 9th, at 6 p.m. or at 5 p.m., there's going to be the swearing in and the city council January meeting at 6 p.m. So there's a meet and greet. So at 5 o'clock at City Hall in Blue Ridge next Tuesday, you can come by and meet Mayor Donna Whitener, Council Member City Post 1, Harold Herndon, City Post 2, Rhonda Thomas, City Post 3, Ken Gaddis, City Post 4, Robbie Cornelius, and City Post 5, Nathan Fitz. Again, that's a meet and greet at 5 o'clock next Tuesday at City Hall. Come down, meet the council, meet the mayor, talk to them. The swearing-in ceremony for the the mayor and council will be at 6 o'clock. And now there's a couple things. The agenda is going to start going around. And I want to explain something before, I don't want to say gets out of hand. Go ahead and put up Blue Ridge agenda. Now, I did not crop the entire agenda, okay? Can you move that to where I can see it? Do you have that? You got that a little too. You got that a little too big there, where they can't. There you go. That should be fine, Lonnie. That should be fine. Thank you. There we go. I can go right. I'm out of it. That's good. So what I want you to notice, if the agenda is going around, okay, and there's some question. Now, there's been a lot of talk on what the new council may do and may not do in some areas. But action agenda items that require the council's approval. And it says the mayor pro temp. Now, what is that appointment? Okay, that is, I think Rodney Kendall, former Councilman Kendall, was mayor pro temp. So if the mayor cannot be there or cannot act in her official role as mayor, and that is needed for some action or to facilitate a meeting, the mayor pro temp does it. So that will be one of the things they do. Now, city council appointments by the charter. Now, according to the charter of Blue Ridge, every year they have to reaffirm all the appointments. They just reaffirm them every year. It's the first act that they do. So you have a city attorney. They have to reaffirm a city attorney, city clerk, city treasurer, chief of police, municipal court judge, prosecuting attorney of the court appointed. Okay, so, and city auditor appointment. I clipped that out because what I want people to understand is they may or may not make some bold moves. Maybe they do make bold moves. But when you see the agenda, these are the things that have to be reaffirmed, are supposed to, according to the city charter. They're supposed to be reaffirmed annually. Okay, city attorney, city clerk, city treasurer, chief of police, municipal court judge. So those are on the agenda, and we will see what the new council does. You'll find out next Tuesday. We'll have our reporter there, Jason Beck, will be there Tuesday night to report the city of Blue Ridge. Happy to announce Jason Beck will. That will be his assignment for 2018, the city of Blue Ridge. Natalie Kissel will be doing the Board of Commissioners for Fannin County. Two reporters there. Do an outstanding job. So that is Tuesday night. Come down, 5 o'clock, meet and greet all of the new council members and the mayor. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, a swearing in of the council, Blue Ridge City Council at City Hall, and then the agenda, which you will be able to find online. So we will have that notice for the meet and greet. Now, last local story I want to do before we do our tax tips with Beth Bennett here at 9 o'clock. Last local story I want to do is what was the mysterious. Now, I always get told, well, what about the quarry? Okay, what about the quarry? The blasting. All right, there's blasting goes on at the quarry, and it just seemed over the holidays, and it just seemed at odd hours. Now. There's a lot of people saying, well, I think it was the blasting at the quarry is what people are hearing. But Natalie Kissel, and I want you to know that if you would like to help her with any information, you can contact her Natalie at FetcherNews.com, I think, our email address, right, Lonnie? I think it's just Natalie. Yeah, Natalie at FetcherNews.com. You can contact her. But she wrote a story because she wanted to look into the mysterious boom rattles Fannin County. And you can find this on FetcherNews.com. Residents in Fannin and Gilmer counties took to social media late Friday night trying to find the source of what's been described as loud explosion. The boom that took place had enough force that some residents were reporting their homes shaking from the blast. Okay, so if you're concerned about some of these loud booms, you got to understand that these have been reported in so many other areas in the state of Georgia. Okay, if you Google this, you will find these reports are multiple reports in other areas, not just our area. So Natalie calls me the other day and she said, I want to do something on this. I said, take off. So her email is Natalie at FetcherNews.com. If you say, hey, I heard the boom, or I think I know what it is, or I think I know somebody that can tell you what it is, we're looking for geologists, scientists, whatever, but Natalie is continuing to follow that. That is on FetcherNews.com, Fannin County. The sheriff, Jeff Johnson's story about the suing the Board of Commissioners in Dawson, that's on Fetcher News, Dawson County. Click on the Dawson County tab and click on News and find Bill Johnson. And then last but not least, if you would like to read Gilmer Commission Chair Charlie Parris's statement in the interview. Lonnie did an interview with the chairman on his his announcement to run for re-election as commission chair. You can find that on FetcherNews.com, Gilmer County. I'm going to take a break. As soon as I get back, what will the Tax Reform Job Act mean to you in 2018? Is there a certain way that you may file that's different in 2017 based on what could be coming down the pike in 18? So don't take for granted that this is next year. You may have a certain way you need to file for some things this year based on what's coming, and we have some answers for you. We're going to have Beth Bennett, H&R Block, Tax Tips as soon as we return. Take us to break, Lonnie.
Schottenkirk Ford in Jasper. Highway 515 South, Jasper. SchottenkirkFordJasper.com.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World, brand name merchandise at unbelievably low prices. Furniture, appliances, and electronics. Circuit World is locally owned and operated, serving the tri-state area. Circuit World has highly trained professionals to help. Visit your hometown Circuit World today. 3 locations in Georgia, Ellijay, Blue Ridge, and Blairsville, Franklin, and Murphy, North Carolina. No credit checks, so let Circuit World deliver to you today.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Hey, we're back, and I'm your host, BKP, and it's that time of year. It's tax season, and you may remember Beth Bennett from last year, Tax Tips with Beth Bennett. We're glad to have her back this year. How are you, Beth?
I'm great, Brian. Thank you for having me today.
Things changed around a little bit in here since the last time.
They did. I like it.
You like it?
I like the setup. Oh, comfy.
Well, how about this? That was a great segue. Things changed since the last time you were here with Tax Tips. So we now, since last time we sat down, we have, first time in over 30 years, we have a new Tax Reform Job Act that the President of the United States signed last week.
Biggest one in over 30 years, so it's pretty huge.
And so, I was thinking about you a lot last year as they were negotiating this, and we're with Beth Bennett, Tax Tips with Beth Bennett this morning. And I was thinking about you a lot last year as they closed and they were negotiating this, of how does someone in your business keep up with what they're doing? I was trying to read, and I would see articles, what the tax bill means for you, and then I would read another one that was almost totally different. How does somebody in your business keep up with what's going on?
Well, that's one of the greatest things about being a franchise of a major corporation, right? Because if you're just a small one-off owner, it's very hard for you because you're just reading what's published in the news and what the IRS puts out there in bits and pieces. Fortunately for us, as being part of a big corporation, we have a whole team that's all they work on, that are completely dedicated to that. And they're deciphering and breaking it down and sending it out to us in usable information.
Usable information. So H&R Block has taken a lot of time, because that is their business.
That's
what
our
they
business,
do, right?
Yes.
So H&R Block has taken a lot of time to get usable information to you, the franchisees, for your people that are coming in and want
to
their
help our
taxes?
clients to be able to get the best tax return possible.
What would you think the biggest change you see? And I know that is such a wide question. But what is one of the biggest changes you see, whether it's a benefit or a negative? But what's one of the biggest things you see as a change?
I think there's like 5 changes that are really pertinent to everybody this year.
Go through all 5.
So the big one, and you're hearing so much about it on the news, is they practically doubled the standard deduction, right? So if you're not in the process of buying your home, which that's really the trigger for most people to be able to itemize their deductions, is if you own your home and you're taking off your mortgage interest. Because if you're just paying property taxes and charitable contributions, it's really hard to meet medical. You got to have like a catastrophic medical to be able to take that on the Schedule A. Unreimbursed job expenses, again, that's limited to a % of your income, so that one's really hard to get to. So really, you can take off your mortgage interest, your property taxes, and then your Georgia income taxes and your charitable. That's what most people put on a Schedule A. Probably 90% of people that itemize, that's what's on there. With doubling of the standard deduction, practically doubling of the standard deduction, it's going to make a lot of Schedule A's go away. A lot of people, it's not going to be valuable to them to itemize on their federal tax return, okay? So that sounds great, right? We've doubled it. Hopefully you're making more money. However, here in Georgia, because we have Georgia's state tax, and a lot of states don't have taxes, so it doesn't affect them. But here in Georgia, this is huge, and I highly recommend everyone go see a professional and get a tax consultation this year. See how next year's going to affect you. Because if you itemized last year, or you itemized this year, and then next year, because all the changes are going forward, none are retroactive, none are going back to 17, and it's going to affect what you're going to do right now in the next couple of months. It's all going forward.
So whatever you did in 2017, that's what you're filing taxes on. That's the laws that will apply, and that's how you will pay your taxes.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So nothing's retroactive.
Nothing's retro. None of the changes that they've made is retro. Nothing goes backward. Everything started on January 1st, and then will affect your tax return next year. So on that doubling of the standard deduction and making your Schedule A and your itemized deductions go away, that can seriously impact your Georgia. It still may benefit you to itemize on your federal and lose a couple $100 on your federal and gain it back on your Georgia. Because the Georgia standard deduction is like, I think for married filing joint couple is like $5,000. Theirs hasn't changed in like 20 years, right? They've never raised any of that to go with inflation, anything. So that could be a really, really huge impact on someone. You know, yes, they might make just a tad more on their federal, but they could lose a couple of thousand in Georgia.
Okay, let me go back just a minute, because I'm so thankful you're here today. Schedule A. Let's go with the Schedule A deductions. So what I'm hearing you say is, not only at this time of year people will rush to do their taxes, and some of the thought is, I want to rush to do my taxes because I'm waiting on my return, and this is the time of the year where I get a little bump. I get the check in the mail and I get a little bump. So there's a rush to do the taxes, but for the first time in 30 years, there's also needs to be a rush at the same time you're doing your taxes to say, how do I plan for 2018?
Correct.
That's as important as doing the taxes. So let me ask you, at H&R Block, at your offices, are you guys prepared if somebody comes in and they have a Schedule A deduction to look at them and say, you do know next year, and then start taking them down the road of how to plan next year?
Absolutely.
So that's the good thing, is if you have a client come in that does a Schedule A deduction, your people are trained to say, it's my place now to let you know that next year when you sit down with me, this area you're not going to apply for. I mean, you're not going to meet what you need.
Yes.
And then your client says, well, what do I do?
Yep. And that's not just this year. That's any year. That's every year. That's part of our job. We don't just put in the numbers. We're not just data entry. We're helping you financially plan for your tax situation each year. And so I'll give you several good examples. So just say you have a 16-year-old child. one of the things we help you plan for okay, now this year you get the child tax credit, but next year your child turns 17, so that's $1,000 you're going to lose. You need to plan for that. Let's plan your W-4 to make sure that you have enough taxes withheld so you're not surprised at the end of the year. We have another great thing H&R Block does for us is they give us tons of calculators, so we can go in and we can plug in numbers and play with all the different scenarios. If you had a kid, if you buy a house, if college, all those things, we can plug in those numbers and see how it will affect you.
Well, I know every year you make recommendations to your clients, and that's the services you offer, not just file taxes. Right. I mean, you do that, but your job is to make recommendations so when they're filing their taxes, they get the most out of the tax laws. What is the what would you call the biggest misunderstanding in this tax bill, or false truth that's out there that is spun around? What are some of the things that, if they come to your office with questions, you could clear up?
So, again, you keep hearing about two things. Well, three things, right? The three biggest things we keep hearing about in the news about the tax reform is this doubling of the standard deduction.
Right.
Doubling of the child tax credit. Right. So if you have a child under 17, it went from $1,000 to $2,000. That's huge. And it's refundable up to $1,400. So that's great. And then the tax bracket changes, right? That's the biggest three, right? Wouldn't you say that's the most you hear about? But one thing they haven't talked about, and you don't hear it anywhere, is that they're removing the personal exemptions. So each person on your tax return, so if you're married, one for the husband, one for the wife, if you have kids, one for each kid, $4,050 that you used to get to reduce your taxable income. So if you made $10,000 and you got your personal exemption of $4,050, then you reduced your taxable income down. Then that's gone away, and no one's talked about that. So even though they're doubling the standard deduction, like I'm married with no children on my tax return, right? And I don't itemize. So I come out ahead in that scenario. If you take my daughter, for instance, who's married with 2 kids and does itemize, she loses money. She has more income taxable because they gave her $11,400 on her standard deduction, right? So now that's $11,400 less to be taxed, but they just took away $1,800 in personal exemptions, $4,050, $4,050, $4,050, $4,050.
Every Friday
they're
at
not talking about that.
Every Friday at 8:15, I do a segment called Ask the Doc with Dr. William Whaley, and I have to really pay attention. And now I'm doing another segment with a whole lot of numbers, and you're forcing me to have to. I'm like trying to really pay attention.
You're trying to visualize those numbers.
But that's what I'm saying is I'm so glad that I know you, that I don't have to do that every day. I can come and say, Beth, you know all this, and you guys are trained to do this, and you can help us. 2 things I want to cover before we leave, and that I have tried to read in the news. H&R Block, you have several offices here locally. But you don't just do personal income tax; you do corporate tax. You do all the above.
We do all tax returns.
How big was the corporate tax break? Are you hearing any of your clients discuss it? I mean, how big was that?
Most of our clients are not the big C corporations that are going to be in here and filing tax returns with us. Most of the clients that we do are small business. They have large incomes. Right,
yeah,
maybe lots of employees, but most of them are S corps, and that's pass through.
There you go.
That was another big one. That's the
one I wanted to get to, because the media. We'll just leave that another subject, but they would say pass through, and nobody would stop and kindly explain that. Explain pass through income. Can you do that for us?
You got a whiteboard.
Next segment, I'll get one. Yeah.
So it's kind of easy to explain. So if you're a small business, if you're an LLC, and each one does a little bit different, and there's different forms for each kind of business you can be that has the pass-through income. You can be a partnership, an S corp, and a sole proprietor. And so that income just goes on your personal. You'll do the business return, but the business actually pays no taxes there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right? So I do my S corp, and that business isn't paying taxes for the business. Whatever net profit that is that goes through on all the partners in that company. So if you're a
Right.
corporation with 4 or 2 or whatever, then and however it
So
gets
if you have
divided
an
up.
LLC, you do the business return, LLC business return. What's down on the bottom, if there is, hopefully, it passes through to the members.
And goes on their personal return as
Personal
additional
return.
income.
Right.
So see, that's where they were talking about that. So, and I think for a lot of those, and I don't know that because I haven't played with that, but I think for a lot of those, they're not going to see the reduction in taxes like they're saying. That's just my opinion, which is
The last thing I want to discuss, because last year, the mandate, the Affordable Care mandate, the penalty kept going up. And last year, if I remember correctly, you said a lot of your clients just paid it, right?
Yep.
What do you think removing that? Are you hearing anything from your clients? I know it's the start of the year, and this is when your clients really start coming in. But are you hearing anything yet on that being removed, or what do you think that means to?
Well, I think that's going to help a lot of people because people were being forced to purchase insurance that they couldn't afford, that wasn't beneficial to them. I mean, how helpful is an insurance policy that you pay several $100s a month for, and then you have a $5,000 deductible? Yeah, so you have no copay, so you have to meet $5,000. So I mean, it's only catastrophic. So a lot of people did choose to pay the penalties, and the penalty, the new mandate is that the penalty's gone for 18. So if last year in 2017, if you didn't have health insurance, you're still going to pay a penalty this year.
So if you show up this year and you say, "Well, the penalty's gone," no, you've got you are
next
going,
year.
That's next year,
Mm-hmm.
and you either have to make a choice. You have to pay the penalty because everything in 2007 applies, nothing retroactive. Anything we didn't cover today on the new tax bill?
Well, one of the things I want to talk about, and I can't believe you didn't bring it up, is the postcard.
No, I didn't bring that up. Go ahead.
That's humorous, right?
Yes.
I know. But a lot of people keep asking me about that. That's
Do
what
they?
yeah. You really think we'll go to a postcard? You could go to a postcard if you're,
Okay, all right.
You get no credits and deductions, so it'd be your kids or.
That's why this is live and it's great. She got me, done, deal. But the Congress, members of Congress, were holding up the postcard.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Yeah.
for those of you, and when they completed the tax reform bill, that you'd be able to file on this postcard. And even the president held it up in a conference room and held up the postcard. So what Beth Bennett is saying is I didn't bring up the postcard, but odds of you really just filing your tax on a postcard is not going to happen.
A kid, somebody who's got, just you could have a married couple, but you own no house, you've got no kids, you've got no kind of credits or deductions, and you worked at a job where you get a W-2. Or a flat rate. They'd have to change it to the flat rate. How would that work?
It played well on TV.
I know, right?
But people are asking about the
people
postcard.
ask me every day.
Do they about the postcard? That's great.
You really think we'll go to a postcard? No.
Nah.
I don't see how they
Well,
can make
let's
that.
put it like this. It took 30 years to get this tax reform. I don't know how long.
And they didn't
before
make
the next-
anything go away. There's nothing, so you wanted to reduce tax law, right?
Right.
Nothing went away. We just moved numbers.
That's it.
We doubled your standard deduction, but we took this away. You see what I'm saying? They just moved numbers back and forth.
I'm glad that's what you do. Did you say they just move number? Ooh, we're going to have to bring the whiteboard. What else do you have? Do you have anything else?
Don't forget this year that there's still, the IRS has made that an ongoing law, the PATH Act, where they won't release refunds until after February 15th if you claim the earned income tax credit and the additional child tax credit, because those were the high fraud credits. And so they're holding all those refunds till February 15th. They're matching up the information to make sure.
What is that one more time? If you have what?
The earned income tax credit.
Earned income tax.
And the additional child tax credit.
So those are the two largest areas of fraud.
Mm-hmm.
So they hold those up till February 15th?
Yes.
To review if there's any fraud.
Yep. So go ahead and do your return now, though. Don't delay starting your return. Go ahead, come in and get your return done just like you always would as soon as you get your paperwork. and then yours will be at the front of the gate when they start releasing them on February 15th.
Well, here's the information we want to know. If you can just give us where you guys located, what's your hours, what's your phone number. Yeah, we want everything.
Just that's pop quiz.
That's it.
So we have 3 locations in LJ. We've got Highlands Crossing down by Subway, 368 Craig Street, which is between Pools Barbecue and the drugstore on 515, and then we have River Street. We are open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, 9 to 7. Each week grows a little more as the client flow grows. We just scale up and back as we need to.
Phone number?
Saturday, Sunday, 706-635-5538, 706-636-1099, 706-635-5563. What else? You want my blood type?
No. Beth Bennett, H&R Block Tax Tips. And let me just make a note here before we close. She has not said this, but I know she will eventually. If you call, if your schedule, they have hours. They have hours because they have people need to know when they're working and not working and when they're open and not open. But if you have a particular time that you cannot make it in their hours, call them. Okay, their staff will figure out how to meet with you, won't you?
Absolutely.
Their staff will figure out how to meet with you, when to meet with you. I'm not telling you they're open on Sunday. That's up to her.
We are Sundays. We have Sunday hours.
I know, but I'm just saying they will do things to help you make sure they fit your schedule, and they know what's going on. This is a family-owned business. They do an outstanding job. They have a well-trained staff, and here's something that's very important. H&R Block has done a great job of drilling everything down to usable information for their people. So if you go to other places, no disrespect, that are just single places that do taxes, and that's what they do, no disrespect, they may not have all the information that they have here at Beth Bennett H&R Block here in LJ. And look them up, Facebook, website. I mean, if you're on the internet, thank you very much. I appreciate it. You've answered a lot of questions for me today, and I have to tell you, the postcard, and they just moved the numbers around. I mean, we can talk all day, but that's really all they did, move numbers around. And don't ask for the postcard, because they don't have one. Right?
No postcard yet.
I'm your host, BKP. This is Tax Tips with Beth Bennett, H&R Block. We'll be back right after these messages.
The Tupelo Tea mission is to provide over 80 premium tea blends for tea lovers who are looking for ways to explore new flavors and blends. Come visit Tupelo Tea, located in beautiful downtown Blue Ridge at Sycamore Crossing. Be sure to sample our various varieties of honey and tea. Visit us on the web at tupelotea.com or call us at 706-946-TEAS. That's TEAS. Tupelo Tea, located in beautiful downtown Blue Ridge.
Better days ahead. 'Tis the season of huge year-end discounts at Days Chevrolet in Jasper. Every 2017 and 2018 Chevy is discounted deep right now. Like $5,000 off Equinox LT from $26,750, or a whopping $10,000 off new Silverado Crew Cabs from $33,695. Unwrap huge holiday savings on every Chevy at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where we make the holidays bright.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
Ace is your helpful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart.
Kenty Artesian Silver and Gifts, the Peruvian shop, located in beautiful downtown Blue Ridge at Sycamore Crossing. Fine sterling silver, luxurious baby alpaca and exotic woods. A beautiful selection of exquisitely crafted gifts for all of your special occasions. Visit our website, artesiansilvergifts.com, or follow us on Twitter at Artesian Silver Gifts. Kenty Artesian Silver and Gifts, the Peruvian shop in downtown Blue Ridge.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
Hey, and we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. Lonnie is in with us today. Sam is on a trip cross-country, a frigid trip. We're going to name her Polar Sam, not Polar Bear. Polar Sam is on the road. She is out there on a, it's cold. So Lonnie and I have already predicted. Lonnie always gets nervous if he gets pulled into something I'm doing. He always has to check that out first. But we do predict that next week, no matter how cold, how cold it is here, Sam will say, well, it was really cold in Iowa, right? Nebraska. You should have been in Nebraska last week if you think 0 is cold. So I'm your host, BKP. We got a couple things. That was a great segment with Beth Bennett. I have been waiting to the beginning of the year for that to happen on account of the fact that, I know everybody was paying attention to Christmas and Old St. Nick and the Christmas tree and Christmas caroling and Christmas cake and saying Merry Christmas. I know you've all were getting through that. And then Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. I mean, but taxes. And I thought it was interesting. I wrote down the postcard, but I thought, you know what, I'm not going to put her on the spot. So when Beth brought that up, you remember the Republicans, they did show the postcard. You'll be able to put your taxes, do your taxes on a postcard. Well, you heard yourself, Beth Bennett, say, don't come in asking for that postcard because it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. The postcard's not going to happen. Hey Lonnie, is it the position of my screen over there, or am I on a downhill slide? Is it just the position of my screen, or if I get up, would I fall to the right? Just saying. All right. Okay. So we did some local news, and we have a couple things before we close the last 30 minutes of the show. We have the Georgia legislative session will start next Monday. Okay, that starts Monday, the Georgia legislative session, and tomorrow, House Speaker David Ralston will hold a press conference that I'm going to attend tomorrow. So I'll be out of here tomorrow. The show will go on, but I'll be out of here tomorrow at a Georgia pre-legislative press conference. Gonna go down there tomorrow, find out what is going to hit the floor of the House of Representatives in Georgia on the 1st. Speaker Ralston has made a joke Monday next week when it opens. He's made a little joke, which I think is true, that he won't be there Tuesday. He will be celebrating the Georgia Bulldogs national championship. So that being said, that's tomorrow. The legislative priorities to be set next week. What else do we have going on? Now, Baltimore, and I might get into this a little later, they lead the league, and murders, right? Did they lead the league in murders this year, I think? I don't know if Baltimore won the coveted prize or not. But remember Freddie Gray in Baltimore? Remember that? Okay. Now, police officers, I want to be careful here, but if I'm a police officer in Baltimore, Maryland, in the city of Baltimore, the less I do, the less I serve and protect. Now, don't take this wrong. I'm not saying they're not doing their job, because that's the argument you will get. But the less I do, the less I serve and protect, it's just that many, the possibility of me doing something and having to go to court. Remember, it's the hands-off. They want police officers in our inner cities to have a hands-off. See the crime and walk by. Freddie Gray. Now, I will say this. The Department of Justice and our law enforcement, what Barack Obama did to the Department of Justice and law enforcement, it's going to take years to try to get this turned around. It's going to take absolute years, because what you also have is you have the head of law enforcement. It's a political office. You have your chief of police of these major cities. That it's a political move that they get appointed, and they're being appointed by these liberal mayors and liberal city councils to the point that they're as liberal. A lot of them are, and it's a political posturing move for them. This will take years to turn this around, but you should take a minute and read what's going on in Baltimore and what's happened there. Sanctuary state. Now, you got California, and I got a question on this, okay? California, sanctuary state, all right? Put that picture up, Lonnie. And it's a new law that Governor Moonbeam, Jerry Brown, the sanctuary state, and on California, as you welcome to California, official sanctuary state, okay? Now, we talked about this yesterday, and you look at, you got like gangs like MS-13. They must be cheering. Look at this. Seriously, MS-13, all right? And it's interesting that right here in our country, okay? Now, we talked about safe spaces in Syria. You got the MS-13 picture? Let's do it. Yeah, there's the gang. They're cheering. Sanctuary state, California. Go back to the sanctuary state picture. Nobody can look at that long. But do you realize in the world, we wanted to create in war zones safe spaces. A sanctuary state. ISIS, terrorist groups, MS-13 gangs, they have to be cheering like crazy that they have a whole entire state that they can operate out of now. Totally operate. I mean, it's a sad day when this country, all right, offers an entire state where gangs like MS-13, terrorist groups like ISIS. I mean, if you're looking for a place to do your terrorist training, why not California? I mean, it's really a sad day what's going on in this country in so many areas. Now, that being said, we have the CNN reporter, and let me just say this, okay? Legalizing marijuana, all right? Now, California has the legalized marijuana. You can grow it legally. You can sell it. It's legal. Colorado, there's some conditions in Colorado, but California, I think, has the most open. The new law has you can grow, okay, you can sell. You don't know what the guy on the corner is actually pulling out of his pocket and selling. I don't know what. It's strange because I don't know if they're going to put a vendor's license in place. So I don't know if a guy on the corner can have a vendor's license. I swear to God, you think this kind of stuff is silly, but I don't know if the guy on the corner can have a vendor's license. I don't know if it's in his left pocket. He could have opiates. He could sell you pills and is illegally. I don't know if this pocket's illegal. This pocket's legal. He can give you a bag of weed to go with something. Okay. I mean, I'm not making a joke out of that. I mean, it's really strange legalizing marijuana. Now, I don't think marijuana is the end of the world as we know it. Okay, so let's not argue over legalization. But I will say this, you know, we have this news reporter that has no regard whatsoever for the lack of respect that lights CNN cannot go any lower. Okay, this news report, yeah they can. This news reporter lights a bong. Now, I don't know legally what all you can do now. I mean, if I don't know all the legal, like, can you drug test in these states? Can you say you're a drug-free workplace? I really don't know. What if you operate heavy equipment? Can you get high the night before and come in with a hangover and say, oh man, you know, I got a terrible headache, I had a buzz? I don't know. Now, there was a lady that was on Fox News, and I just caught the tail end of it, so I don't know. And her daughter or son was killed by a driver under the influence. You have to understand, this is not a drunk driver. People say a drunk driver. It's not. It's DUI, driving under the influence, okay? Driving under the influence. You can be under the influence of marijuana, you can be under the influence of opiates, you can be under the influence of any prescription medication, alcohol, driving under the influence. So I really don't know the direction this all goes in, all right? I just wish we put as much effort into the serious things in this country before we have sanctuary states. I mean, I think we should be as concerned about black children being killed in Chicago and Baltimore. I think we should be concerned about children being killed by MS-13 gangs. I think we should be concerned about homegrown terrorism in this country. Whether of how fast we can fight to become sanctuary cities, sanctuary schools, and sanctuary states and pass legalizing marijuana. So I don't know, something about how we got all these priorities wrong. A couple things I want to do before the 20 minutes is up here at the end of the show. Donald Trump, President Trump, put up the fake news awards. This is pretty good. This is a tweet the president put out, okay, at 8:05 last night. He will be announcing, I'm sorry, folks, but the President of the United States is doing his own award show. I mean, I read this and I think of like the first MTV. First of all, I'm of the age to remember the first MTV Video Awards. All right. Sorry, I wish I was not the age. I'm happy where I'm at, but I remember the first MTV Video Awards. I remember the first ESPYs, right? ESPN. I remember their first award show. Donald Trump, the President of the United States, has created his own award show. Just saying. I will be announcing the most dishonest and corrupt media awards of the year. The Golden Trumpy. The Golden Fake News Award. I mean, I think it should be a black tie affair. I think every news network should have a table. I think there should be nominees. Okay. Categories. Okay. I think Minka and Joe. I think Minka Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough should win biggest lying fake couple news as a duet fake news award goes to Minka. I'm just saying, black tie. I will be announcing the most dishonest or corrupt media awards of the year on Monday at 5 o'clock. Subjects will cover dishonesty, bad reporting, and various categories. I swear to God, if Trump doesn't do black tie, if he doesn't do the tux, I'm not watching, damn it. I want the tux and everything. The bad reporting in various categories from fake news media. Stay tuned. 5 o'clock Monday. I mean, he's going to upstage the 5 o'clock news. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I think this is absolutely hilarious. I will be announcing one more time for me, I will be announcing the most dishonest and corrupt media awards of the year on Monday at 5 o'clock. Subjects will cover dishonesty and bad reporting in various categories from the fake news media. Stay tuned. Folks, we're going to stay tuned. The Trump Awards. I mean, what's he going to do next, right? Oh, we got the nuclear button. What's he going to do next? Now, what else do I have here that I don't want to pass up? All right. Put up the deep state tweet that came out yesterday, all right? President Trump, this tweet came out yesterday. Crooked Hillary's top aide, all right? Uma Abedin. Now, we all know this, and we're sitting here and we have discussions, and I talk to several of you, and I get phone calls, and then I watch social media. We are totally can't figure out why that these certain people or a group has not been arrested. Now, I, for one, would love to know what the fear is of the Clintons, what the actual fear is of John Podesta, all right? I mean, my favorite video of all time, I won't say it on the show, is Andrew Breitbart looking at that camera and saying, F you, John Podesta. That's one of my favorite. I got to play that. I know it's a bad word, all right? F you, John Podesta. The guy had the nerve, okay? And I am just why the deep state will not what we're going to do to turn this around. Crooked Hillary's top aide, Uma Abedin, has been accused of disregarding basic security protocols. She put classified passwords into the hands of foreign agents. Remember sailor's picture on a submarine? Jail, all right? So a jail, deep state, Justice Department must finally act. Also on Comey and others. So put up, what's this guy? Is it Kirsten Salser? Well, how would you say that, Lonnie? How would you say his name? I got his picture there. Is it Christian? All right, you're right, because we just had a reporter named Kirsten. All right, how do you pronounce Christian? How do you pronounce his last name? How would you pronounce it? Saucier, right? Okay, this young man here is he owned up to it. Get that video ready, Lonnie. This young man here took some pictures on a submarine, all right, a nuclear submarine. Wrong, totally wrong. He's 22 years old, okay? All right, classified, but he went to jail, okay? Tell me when you have that video queued up, all right? Here's an interview this young man did yesterday, all right? He went to jail for a year, and then he had to do community service for so many hours, and he's on probation, all right? Play this video just for a couple minutes, the interview he did yesterday.
Congressman DeSantis talking about Christian Saucier. Christian, thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me on, Sandra.
What was that like this morning to see your story brought up in that tweet by the president again?
Well, I mean, it's good because I think he's pointing out some serious issues that the FBI and the DOJ under Comey and Andrew McCabe, you know, I mean, these are the same guys who were investigating me at the same time they were supposedly investigating Hillary Clinton and her cronies. And, you know, they couldn't wait to exonerate them before they'd even conducted interviews, whereas they were chomping at the bit to destroy my life, which is exactly what they did.
To be clear, Christian, and I think this is important to get this out here, you took responsibility for your actions. You owned it. You pled guilty, and then you served time. Correct. So it's a double standard that you say you believe exists.
Oh, yeah. I mean, these politicians, Hillary Clinton, a prime example, she denied and denied and denied it until finally she got caught red-handed and said, OK, I did it. What's the big deal, basically? Well, the big deal is she did exactly what they accused me of doing and what I pled guilty and took responsibility to. I didn't go to trial. I took secured information, pictures of my submarine, and put it on an unsecured device, my cell phone. That's what I got charged with, unlawful retention of national defense information, which, by the way, is
and also
exactly
to point out, you're still
did.
Under house arrest, right? I mean, you still got an ankle bracelet on.
That's correct. Yeah, I did a year in federal prison. I got 6 months of house arrest and 3 years of federal probation. Plus, I'm a felon and I have an other than honorable discharge. So I lost all my VA disability benefits, my veteran status, everything after 11 years in the service and, 2 deployments to the Middle East. I have nothing. It's very difficult for me watching as, this very same FBI that was supposedly, protecting us from people that mishandle classified information. Well, that's what they said was my case, that they needed to set an example. Well, why aren't they setting an example of this egregious violation that Hillary Clinton and Huma Abedin and Cheryl Mills did? They had top secret SCI, which is the highest level. I had confidential pictures, which, I'm not trying to minimize what I did. I made a mistake, and that's why I took responsibility. But I've been contacted by numerous people in the military after this happened, and they said, from Vietnam up to current day, and said, well, gosh, I took pictures of where I worked, and it was probably top secret or something, but I wanted to have mementos of my time in service. And I said, well, that's what a lot of people do.
Okay, he took secured information. Now, pay attention, folks. This is what he's charged with. Taking secured information and forwarding it to an unsecured source. Okay? Now, the guy owned up for it, pled guilty, all right? FBI, the same people went after him. Now, it was all a setup. You remember, first, Hillary Clinton is under investigation. So to appease the public, they had that July 3rd, was it July 3rd, cookies and lemonade meeting with Hillary Clinton. That was Peter Strzok. The FBI was not under oath, and then they come out and wrote, remember, Comey read the exoneration letter of Hillary Clinton, actually before the interview ever took place, no charges. Now, here's what happened, okay? And I'm gonna have to paraphrase it a little bit or just push it down. So, close to the election, sources say that New York City investigators, okay, because you got the Weiner, okay, you got Anthony Weiner, all right? And you have information on his laptop. Now, New York City investigators are the best in the world. They just are. If you will let the New York City investigators, the detectives, the investigators in New York City, if you will let them go, I mean, they'll clear house on terrorism. They know what they're doing. So sources say you've got a couple people in the NYC police department that got Anthony Weiner's laptop that say, look, if you don't put this out, we will. All right? So Comey runs back out to the podium and says Hillary's back under investigation. All right? For the FBI. Because he didn't have a choice. It was getting ready to come out. You have some lower level FBI agents that are great people. You have within the FBI a lower level of field agents that have had it with the deep state. I'm going to say a handful at the top, okay? Department of Justice, Deep State, Secretary of State's office, and maybe Tillerson's cleaned house, and the FBI, all right? So anyhow, that being said, then Comey comes out, 3 days or 4 days before the election. Hillary can blame it on Comey, but he comes out to try to get people to think, okay, it's completely over, all right? That's my opinion. Comey came out immediately to say, oh, Hillary Clinton, we didn't find anything. It's all over now. She's completely cleared. So Hillary could have 2 or 3 days where the media could get the word out for about 4 days that Hillary is okay. A week in advance, Hillary's okay. They've double-checked, triple-checked, she's okay. I think that might have been some of the plan, is to ease the people that had concerns for voting for her. Hey, they went over and above, all right? What they really found, and I don't have time to go into this, but you remember when Yahoo was compromised and it was hacked? The same guy that was responsible that you just put under, and I forget his name, but I read the article, but he just recently had charges brought up on him, okay? Is the same guy that was involved with the bank in Russia that gave Bill Clinton $500,000 for the speech. All right? Remember that? Well, this same guy was involved with the people that hacked Yahoo. I'm telling you, why somebody's not in jail. So Uma Abedin shows up on her laptop with passwords. Classified emails and passwords that she forwarded from, remember, she forwarded from her secured source to a non-secured source, her whole list of passwords. So when you look up today, Yahoo, Uma Abedin hacked secure passwords to an unsecured laptop, a Yahoo server. And this guy here doesn't know, and that's what Trump did, okay? That's what Trump did. Hey, you might not like some of the tweets, but this is the guy right here. Let's just go one more time, okay? Go with the deep state tweet. Crooked Hillary's top aide, Uma Abedin, has been accused of disregarding basic security protocols. They're basic protocols. No matter what you do, you never transfer secure data to an unsecured source. You never do that. You go to jail. This guy is a witness of that. He is the one. She put classified passwords in the hands of foreign agents. Foreign agents, it was proved, hacked Yahoo and cleaned them out. Just Google it and read the articles, folks. This lady sent the passwords. They got all the passwords. How can, they want you to believe, first of all, the Republicans, leave that up for a minute. The Republicans, okay, continue to let this fake dossier and this Russian collusion. Now they want to hinge everything on some guy got drunk in a bar and told an Australian diplomat. Come on! If we investigate everything that two drunks talk about or two people talk about over drinks at the bar, my God, there's not enough time. I'm telling you. She put classified passwords in the hands of foreign agents. Remember the sailor pictured on the submarine? That's the young man we just had up. Jail. He went to jail. He's still on house arrest. Deep state. I've waited. You may laugh, okay? And I wanted to end with this for a reason. You may laugh at him saying to the little rocket man, my button's bigger than yours, and I guarantee if I hit my button, it worked. So you better shut the hell up, all right? You may be hiding under the desk this morning, all right? Because little rocket man offered to have cake, you know, and take a picture with you, and you're turning it down, which Obama would be over there getting a Nobel Peace Prize hung around his neck for taking a picture with Rocket Man, okay? You may be upset over that. You may be upset, all right, that he says he's going to have a fake news award show. That may upset you also, right? Or you may be really upset that he said no border wall, no DACA. I've waited my entire life for a president of the United States that will actually call it out and call it deep state and say the Justice Department must finally act. Also on Comey and others. You may be waiting today. We'll talk about that later. You may be waiting today to find out. Put up Jeff Sessions. You may be waiting today to find out what happens. What happened to Jeff? You cropped Jeff a little bit there, Lonnie. You may be waiting today to find out what happens in the meeting with President Trump or Nancy Pelosi and Mick Mulvaney, the budget director. You may be waiting on that, and DACA and Schumer and Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan. You may be waiting for that report. You may be waiting to find out what's going on with the budget. There's maybe a whole list. But Jeff Sessions has to go. I'm waiting to see what he does. It's time to act. The President of the United States, do you have Jeff back up there? It's time to act. This guy has to act. He has to come out with a bold, this is your Attorney General, Jeff Sessions. He has to come up with something bold and act now. He's been told by the President of the United States, which is the one that appointed him, and he either has to act now or he's got to go. Jeff Sessions, it's time for you to do something, all right? Moving along, I don't know what happened there with Jeff Sessions. Put up a picture with Uma and Wiener there. Wiener is off. I think he's in sex rehab, so he doesn't tweet or text underage girls. And I think Uma, I don't know what she's doing nowadays, whether she's still transferring material, secured material. Two things before we go. I've got one more thing. Orrin Hatch. Okay, Orrin Hatch is retiring. Put up a picture of Orrin Hatch. We got 1 minute. He is the senator from Utah. There's Orrin Hatch with Donald Trump. He's made a decision to retire. Everybody is on Romney watch. So go to desk 1. Put up desk 1. There's Mitt Romney hiding under the desk. And then go to the picture of Mitt Romney. He has changed his Twitter feed. Everybody's watching that. The pic there, he changed it. It did say he's the former governor of Massachusetts, okay, but it's Holiday, Utah. He changed that yesterday, his Twitter feed, and updated it to Utah. So we're looking to see if Orrin Hatch is going to run for senator. I'm your host, BKP. It's 10 o'clock. I don't know if I missed out on anything. I know they're talking about DACA today. We'll cover that. So many other things going on. My button is bigger than your button. We covered that. Nikki Haley, how did you fold in South Carolina, but you stand up to tyrants, world dictators? I'm a little confused on that. I'm your host, BKP. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Tell your friends. Take us out of here, Lonnie.